Hello, and welcome to the Locutors of Trek Starship Assembly, where the three of us, and maybe others will join us later, will build a USS Starship from scratch. So, where should we start? The nacelles?
Duranium
Nacelles?
webbing, thank you.
I think because we're going to rank close to almost 100 Starship types in the next couple of hours, probably. And it's just maybe a little bit of a setting the ground. Like what are we looking for in our rankings? How do we judge these things? Because these ships are beautiful aesthetics, but there's also the factor of what they can do. What their abilities, even their crews maybe, but and the legacies of these ships. But what are you guys looking for in these starships?
Specify parameters.
What are your parameters?
Well, I think what they've all got in common so far is they are faster than light starships, right? They're all warp capable or better starships.
Maybe not all of them. I don't know.
Most of them.
There's a vast majority of them. Okay,
maybe
so they don't have all that.
Too.
So what do they have? Do they have anything entirely in common, or are we dealing with a set of family resemblances here?
Well, they're all, the list. So just to put some framework around the parameters, we picked only ships that we've seen in canon. Ships, not one-off alien ships. So we included almost all the Starfleet ships that we knew of, and alien ships that we saw on multiple occasions. So we have the Klingon ships, we have the Romulan ships, we have the Cardassians, but we don't have like the Sheliak, we don't have the Husnak here, and other one-offs. So maybe in the future
Voyager
we'll add them.
Aliens of the week.
Yeah, the aliens of the week, not so much, but the long established ships, the ships that we saw over and over again. They're
things we have a chance to get to know their capabilities for, really.
Their capabilities, just I think aesthetically, and I guess functionality, because I know when we get to that California class, it's maybe where we're going to get heated about the design of the ship.
We got slight controversy there.
Yeah, so I guess they're all. It's I think for me a big part of it's aesthetics, but also like it's kind of like a car. You look at like these really awesome cars or boats or planes, and just the engineering sort of imagination, I guess, that comes into these science fiction type ships. Because obviously none of these are real, but
no. But I'm glad you bring this up because the question of aesthetics in these. In a science fiction setting is really important, and I want to say like the big distinguishing features of Star Trek ships is that there is a kind of design philosophy or an ethos that is embodied in these vessels. You think about the great D'Deridex Romulan warbird over there on what is to my
I have lots to say about the D'Deridex
right of the screen, right? This thing is beautiful, but the first moment we see it, when it uncloaks in season 1, episode 26, that thing is imposing, obviously larger than the Enterprise, and like it makes a statement. And I do love that about the way that ships are designed and put together in Star Trek, that there is a consistency of design that's supposed to evoke a certain sort of evolution of design philosophy among various species, but at the same time,
it should match.
It is really carefully thought about to sort of give us an impression, almost sight unseen, of who these people might be. Right.
Yeah, and what I also love about Star Trek is that these ships are like there's some thought put behind how they actually work, how warp drive works, and Gene Roddenberry had a few rules like just around like warp nacelles, that they should be in pairs and they should be able to see each other and these kinds of things. That's how you establish the the warp field that's of course made up, but those kinds of things, right?
We just can't make them at anything but a subatomic level yet.
Yes. Right. Okay. So it doesn't exist yet, at least. It doesn't exist in our world. And I think that these ships, just their legacy and what they're famous for. I guess we might look at alien ships a little differently than we look at Starfleet ships, hero ships too. So
for me, it's a mix of functionality, maybe uniqueness, and also aesthetics. Like we're going to set up our baseline here. And
okay, so what are we starting with? What ship are we?
I would say no matter how awesome the ship is, if it's ugly, it's definitely not S tier. Like S tier, it has to be super functional and beautiful at the same
well, what's ugly?
I'm gonna well, that's
I may have one exception to that, but I can see your point.
Well, maybe perhaps there is some exceptions to that, but like I think S tier has to be pretty great across the board.
Sure. It has to hit all the marks.
You hit all the beats. So for me, I'm going to propose an S tier here to get us started, and that would be the Dideridex class Romulan World Warbird. To me, it's the best ship of the bunch. Now, functionality, as Dave said earlier, well, we should say who we are. We're Davan and Dave, aka Plain Simple Tailors, and with me, as always, not always, but sometimes, my cousin Dave, Captain Dave Mater.
Hello.
Maeric will be here in a minute.
Maeric,
yeah, he'll be here in a minute.
We need you. It's the Dideridex.
He's just realigning the night matrix.
And Jaemeel will be along at some point as well. So yes, I propose the Dideridex. It's gorgeous. I can't stress that enough how gorgeous it is. I love the space in between it as well. It just makes it harder to hit, even for something that size. You can easily just adjust your positioning and have a torpedo go right through it. But it also has the force singularity drive, which I find fantastic. You don't get the top speeds that dilithium gets from the force singularity drive, but I don't care. I'm not a speed freak, and Romulans don't run away. So, for me, it hits all the boxes.
That lack of speed is in keeping in some ways with an earlier warbird that the Romulans were using. The classic warbird we see in Balance of Terror, which didn't have a speed advantage, but had a massive one-way power advantage over the Enterprise. Right. And I think you see that design philosophy borne out in the Dideridex, right? But taken to this very imposing level. It's a ship I absolutely love.
I love it too. I like S tier wouldn't have occurred to me. I would have said I think I naturally would have put it in A, but I'm not necessarily feeling strongly enough about pulling it down out of there either. So I'm good to leave it there. And
the only truly bizarre thing about it is, as Davan already noted, that massive empty space, which actually comprises most of the ship's silhouette. But if we do think about it, as you said, about basically a place to put your warp nacelles and then your impulse drives way at the back, or whatever's going to, perform the impulse drive function, and then have your crew quarters and every major functional element of the ship up in that big sort of head section. You functionally keep everybody away from the massive radiation spike, which is your engine drive system. And concentrate them in one spot toward one purpose straight ahead. It's like it's just so beautifully evocative of sort of Romulan.
The Romulan Dideridex. Yeah, it's a gorgeous ship. It's iconic. I think it's one of the most famous things to come out of the golden age of Star Trek with the TNG reboot. The reintroduction of the Romulans, their ship was a big part of that. And I'm good. I'll sign off on this S tier, Dideridex.
Like I would argue also anything we also put in the S tier, one Dideridex would easily stare down and not shake in its boots.
Most of these ships, would still have a hard time going toe to toe in like a battle. Yeah. And I think I do look at that. Like obviously, like some of these ships come from different centuries, so some of them are technologically or at least with their weaponry inferior to others. But you have to. But like let's imagine that they kind of are on equal footing, in their time periods.
Sure. I think that's a fair point, right? But I mean, it's true. I mean, the Dideridex has functionally more firepower than the Enterprise.
In its time, as a pure
in a single go, right? If it was just one galaxy against one Dideridex, it technically has more firepower. Who knows who wins? But
So from here, where do we go to next, Davan? Should we go to?
Are you able to flash the images big on the screen before you put them at all? Just so
not really.
Can get a good okay.
Not without taking down the tab and bringing it back.
Oh yeah, don't worry about
that. So yes, but it would take a long. Well, it would take probably too long.
Why don't we jump in time a little bit to test out our equivalence notion here? and take something from a different time period.
Sure.
Okay. Well, you pick one there, Dave. Try to show us fill in another letter for the baseline.
Another letter. I'm just gonna grab one.
Right.
I'm grabbing this one.
That's something that's not an S.
This is a Soyuz class, a variant of the
Soyuz.
Miranda class, was as commanded by Kelsey Grammer in that time loop episode we briefly see. So it's mostly like the Miranda class, except it's got more guns, basically.
Yeah, Captain Bateson, wasn't it? Yeah,
Captain Bateson, and it was supposed to be Christy Alley as Savick, but that fell through at the last second or something.
Oh, that would have been a great little Cheers reunion too.
Yeah, but this is the one that they try to divert with the tractor beam, and then it hits the nacelle and blows up the Empress.
The Soyuz, as I recall, was sort of more of a gunship version of the Miranda class.
Yeah,
right?
and I have the Miranda.
You don't even have the. Yeah, you didn't have the Soyuz on the list. You must have just.
Well, it's a variant of the Miranda.
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
so I have them. I have them both here. So we can talk about them. I don't know if we want to rank them separately or not, or differently.
Nah,
but
put them together.
Where would you put this type of ship? Like the Miranda, like the Reliant from Wrath of Khan would be the famous example here. So
honestly, I mean, I don't think they could possibly go lower than a B. The Miranda's profile in terms of its design, the whole massive set of shuttle bays out back, and
it's got two bays at the back. Whatever
this
on
whole
top,
roll bar on the top of it that's got this tremendously flexible mission profile, because you can actually switch that out, which we'll see later in other ships as a continuing design feature in Federation ships. Not necessarily top of the line, but those supporting and sort of second line ships, right?
Yeah,
and I think it's fairly designed as a B. Both the Soyuz and the Miranda are.
My only issue with this design, and so this is more of an issue with the Soyuz than it is with the Miranda proper. But where is the deflector on the Soyuz? It doesn't is it in the gun?
I want to know what they're hiding up in that roll bar.
Well, it could be anything from sensors to more photons to a spare big medical bay to do rescue missions, all sorts of stuff, right?
Yeah, because the mission pod, it could be a torpedo launcher, it could be something else, but there he is.
And there we go, the USS Saratoga, which Maeric.
Hello, everyone.
USS Saratoga, which I think is what Francisco's on at the beginning of Emissary, right?
Yes.
What it gets blown off of.
It's destroyed.
I would say B.
B. Okay, so we're going.
Because they're literally Reliant ships.
Yeah.
Hello, Dogibus.
All right, so we're leaving both of those in the B class. Okay, so we got some.
How do you feel about those first two, Maeric?
Miranda's in B.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I think Mirandas are a staple of the Federation. It definitely is. I think that there's a heavy nostalgia attachment to that particular ship class. It's not my personal favorite. I'd probably put it in a C, but it's so essential to the Federation's sort of core stuff. So I don't know. I guess I can see.
Would you rank the Soyuz any differently than Miranda?
Ship.
Oh, that's tough.
I'm just where's the deflector on the Soyuz? I can't.
That's a good question.
See, it's got to be underslung. That's my thought. It's got to be.
Yeah,
underslung.
it must be.
Yeah,
but I don't know if we ever
put
see the bottom of the Soyuz craft.
Well,
most deflectors are underslung, so that wouldn't be a big surprise.
All right. So,
what about the Adair decks? You like that up there in S, there, Mary?
I do. I even love what you guys said about it. TNG is sort of billed as the peak of the Federation, the absolute flagship, this big monster of a thing. And then the Romulans come out with something that just manages to scare the crap out of you anyway, even though you're flying this thing. It's so imposing. It's always been so cool. I don't know. I like it there.
No, I hear you. It shows up and it's this ain't no shopping mall in space,
Yeah. And they were really trying to do that too, because I know we haven't brought it up yet, but the Ferengi ship as well. They had to.
I got lots to say about the Ferengi Marauder.
Do you want to go there next? Let's,
okay.
We got a lot of ship
I want to set up this baseline. No, leave it. Because I'm going to argue S tier for that one.
Then
pick an
we
A
got a lot
tier.
of ships to get through. So you pick.
What do you think's an A tier, Dave?
I don't know, man. I'd go ship by ship, and I'll tell you what it is. But I don't know.
All right, well, pick an F tier.
An F tier.
What's the worst ship you can think of?
Ship?
The worst ship I can think of?
The Crossfield.
Oh.
Burn.
F tier. Bring it up. Bring it up. We'll rank it. It's definitely not.
Well, we have two of these too. We have two of these two. We have the 32nd century.
32nd. Yeah.
32nd century refit, and we have the original Crossfield.
Do you like your nacelles attached or no?
Do you like your nacelles attached or not? Yes, that's the question. I would put the I like the refit better, maybe, but I do like attached nacelles. So I'm torn on this, but I hate the nacelles on the Crossfield. They're long, they're skinny, they're pointy. Why? And why like it doesn't make sense to me that you would detach the nacelles when you're at warp. They should be or detached. And whatever it is in Star Trek Online, Maeric, it's wrong. I don't like it. So, but the Discovery, we're talking about the Discovery really here.
Yeah, but like the spinny saucer section is dumb. The nacelles is dumb. It's ugly. Like but that's dumb.
The things that I do like about this ship are the large triangular wedge engineering section.
Which is very unique.
Even though I'm not aesthetically, it's not super pleasing, just given the history of other Starfleet ships. I do see the value in that spread out surface area, right? Because it's a very flat profile if you encounter it in space, and the ship would have a very flat profile. The thing that really gets me, apart from the long nacelles that don't look like anything else that Starfleet was making at the time, Constitution class, would be these weird gaps in the saucer section, right? What it reminded me of were those old, it reminds me of those 15th century woodcuts of Atlantis, as described by Plato in the Critias or something, where it's got those 3 rings in the city, but that's supposed to talk about a dysfunctional and broken system that ultimately is destroyed by its own hubris. Is that the point of this saucer section? Because clearly, I think that's the only functional
Nothing in
design
Discovery is that thought through.
I will make a case here.
And if they did think of that, they changed their mind 2 episodes later. So.
Which they do all the time.
I'll make a case here that the Crossfield refit is a better ship than the original Crossfield. It's got a cloaking device. It's got more facilities. It's got programmable matter. It's got those drones. It's got the artificial intelligence computer that got embedded there. There's lots better about the refit than the original ship.
Sure.
So I would put it in. I put it in D.
Okay. Can I make an argument for how the show even knows that it's ridiculous looking? Because I remember when it came out, and it was remember everyone watching at home. This was the first time we got a Star Trek show in forever. So there was a huge amount of hype. I was so excited. Episodes. I couldn't wait to see the ship. And then I was trying to get a clear shot of what this thing looked like, but I swear they know, because when do you ever get a normal camera angle on that thing? They shoot it at the most bizarre perspectives, trying to make it look neat. But for forever, I couldn't even find an actual realistic full body picture of the stupid thing. I swear they've been hiding it. It's like taking a picture of a bad car.
Your refit does not impress me. It's even worse with its detached nacelles.
Jody, come on, help me out. The refit's better, right?
Refit of what? Sorry.
The Crossfield.
Discovery, the one with the detached nacelles.
There should actually be a G tier.
Yeah, exactly.
Sub F.
Well,
yeah.
It's an absolute.
We got Black Alert here, guys. We're going Black Alert.
They literally took a comm badge and stretched it and made it into a ship.
Oh my gosh,
they did.
Right.
Yeah, take the ship and go like this, and then you literally have a comm badge. Just
all right.
The refit has the Qui-Gon assault vessel.
Amazing.
It's got
no one cares. It's still
all who thinks both of the Crossfields should be in F say I.
If you made the actual saucer section bigger, I think it would help a lot. I think
they're both
terrible.
We hate the
Crossfield.
They lose so you think about it just in terms of how much your circumference is going to grow. and the thickness of that circle through that section you're taking out, it's absolutely ludicrous.
No one should put Maeric in the corner.
Love of these things. I calculated the internal area of the Enterprise D saucer section at one point in terms of livable space.
Oh, dear
and
God.
This just makes an absolute mockery of efficient space usage. Like, talk about trying to just get from your quarters to anywhere else. Good luck.
All I can tell you is you spent 3 minutes longer than you should have on both of those ships.
All right. Well, can I pick another ship here?
If there's so many.
If you think it's going to fit
you
somewhere
do it better,
that we haven't
Dave?
got yet.
I got a ship here that I think is going to divide the panel.
Okay.
Where is it? Here it is.
We're still trying to set up our baseline.
Oh, yes,
Kelvin,
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
The Kelvin Dreadnought, the Section 31 ship from Star Trek Into Darkness. Another ship with a cutout section in the saucer. So it made me think of it.
We're trying to set up a baseline.
Jody loves this ship, so I think it's at least a D.
I also love the ship. I'm putting it B.
Oh my God.
I'd put it at B as well.
I think it's ridiculously huge. In Star Trek Online, when you see the ships,
it's supposed to be. That's the whole point.
Huge.
It's ridiculous.
It's supposed to be basically the Federation equivalent of a bird of prey. Like that's literally
the Federation dreadnought.
No,
I mean,
it's like a dreadnought. Excuse me. Yeah.
It's massive. Like I have actually a little model of it here, and it is like it's not
huge.
I don't hate the design. I hate what it represents.
Sure.
It's just like the idea of Section 31 having this evil ship that's going to kill Kirk. Go to hell. But the design of the ship is kind of neat. I like how it's got this little bridge section that kind of looks down, through the cutout section.
I think down on you because it's superior.
I'd say D. I think it's a D tier. That's my opinion.
Yeah, me too.
I will compromise and put it to a C.
Yeah, I'll
but it's not a D.
I love it because it evokes Constitution. It is of that era. It's supposed to be the biggest badass fish in that pond that era of that type of ship.
That's
and it does
piranha in the goldfish bowl.
Yeah, and it's dark. It's got that Section 31 vibe. I don't know. I think it's imposing and does its job.
Well, I do love it as an evocation of hubris, right? Because it's like the idea of building an aircraft carrier for modern warfare. What the heck are you going to do with that thing with the kind of missiles that people have these days? This dreadnought is just so ludicrous. But I see what you mean, right? Like it's this sort of grandiosity made
but that's
space-worthy somehow.
That's really what it's supposed to be, though. It's a hunter-killer. Like, that's what it is.
And in Universe, for a very specific reason. We were given that role play, right? Like, they got scared, spooked by something way stronger than them and totally divided the timeline. And they're like, oh, shit, we should be building something big and warlike. And that's exactly what they did.
Maeric's completely right. I'm not backing down. It's a B.
Okay,
Jaemeel,
I can
Puxley?
absolutely see a C or I can see a C at least for this, given that argument.
I could live with
really
a C.
Convincing.
C's the highest.
Compromise that as C.
Jaemeel, is the Kelvin Universe Dreadnought a C or a D?
Can I just begin by saying, great hat?
Thank you.
Thank you. The Charlie Brown hat?
Charlie Brown.
Yeah,
Yes.
Charlie Brown.
Hat?
Now, keep in mind, I just came in for the tail end of those arguments. But I understand its purpose, but it's a monstrosity.
It's
a D. It's a D.
That's the point.
To be.
I think it's. I wish it was smaller, but the design itself is good.
Maeric, should we let them have the C then?
I feel like
it has
the
the same ways.
All right, let's go with a C then.
In my heart, it's B for badass.
It is.
Never
forget, Maeric. Never forget.
Yeah, with you, buddy.
Right. We're going.
I know
C.
a D class.
Okay, what's the next
I
ship?
can get us a D class.
Although Dave was right, that divided the panel.
It did.
Yeah.
All right, so a D class ship, I think, is the Cali class.
You are
certainly no higher than me.
How dare you, sir?
Well, we're going back to our throw it to the
right
panel. We're going back to our throw
I
it to the
completely
panel
agree.
strategy.
Where's
That's
throw
a
this
hard
one
D
to
for me.
Dave Puxley. Dave Puxley, why is where should the Cerritos be?
I mean, ultimately, the real issue with this ship is one of function.
Yep.
It's actually it's quite a pretty ship, and
Agreed.
I love the fact that it shows up in the place that it does, because it is also kind of a humorously designed ship, right?
Yeah,
Like it's designed kind of upside down and inside out. But in terms of function, it fails every possible measure because of where those struts are. It makes absolutely no sense that you would build twice the turbo lifts, twice the everything in order to move people around, to push them past the most dangerous parts of the ship in order to get to the engineering section. It literally breaks Roddenberry's rules about why the nacelles are where they are. They're far away from people because they will bloody kill you real fast.
And they can't see each other by Roddenberry's rule because the engineering section is in the way.
They can see each other enough. Like they're not.
And
no,
Dave,
it's
Dave,
I love the show, but it's awful.
Engineering nightmare.
It's awful.
It's
It is.
No way. This ship is elegant. This ship is. They could detach.
All you need is one
pylons.
shuttle to completely disable this ship.
It is
There is no protection on the engineering section at all.
There's like it makes sense to have the ability to separate the engineering section from the saucer.
What good is a starship when it can't move?
But also, have we talked about like the profile?
We get rid of this damn banner. I'm getting tired of it.
It's literally 2 levels to shoot at. Pick your poison, shoot a spread. You're going to hit something with a shotgun of photons.
They almost need 2 shields. Like they need shields for the engineering section.
No
as well.
way,
it's a monstrosity.
This is if the dreadnought's a C, this is easily a C as well.
What?
No.
This is an ugly new age coffee table.
It's big and stupid, but
no, I love this. I love that ship, but
I love the show.
His purpose makes sense.
Versus
generous Cerritos, which is fundamentally, flawed.
It's a meme. The show is a meme, and the ship is a meme for it. It can't be serious. It's a coffee table.
We all good with D?
It's got a great.
We're good. Fine. I guess I'm outvoted here. All right.
Sorry,
Dave. D is for Dave.
I'm the only defender of this Kali class. And
do you know why I'm torn on
pretty,
it?
But
no, like the characters in the show, they love it so much, and that's so contagious. Like I understand the attachment that they have to it, but like objectively, it's as silly as the show is meant to be. So,
okay, so we need an A tier. We need an A tier.
A tier.
I think maybe I can get an A tier here. What do you guys think of this? The Akira class. Pretty
Akira
functional,
class?
powerful.
Oh, I'm with you, buddy.
Where do you want to put it? In A?
But like, maybe not quite to the S tier level with like the hero ships and the Derridex, maybe. But like
I don't agree with that.
Solid A. A solid A.
I would.
It looks like a pressed chicken. Like
they've spatchcocked it.
It's very functional. It's not that different, really, than like the NX-01 or even the Miranda class, right? It's still got the same fundamentals.
Yeah, kind of.
No, it does.
I like
have
the saucer
same
section.
Problem as the Cerritos.
It does, yeah.
Not quite.
Close.
And it has a lower profile, but it has those 2 posts, right?
Which makes sense because it's supposed to be like a super combat ship. Like for me, I actually saw this for forever and didn't like it. Don't think that it's cool aesthetically, but once you find out it's like the big heavy hitter that it is, somehow I started respecting it more. It's my friend's favorite ship, so I know that people revere it, but
you know the thing I love about the Akira class is that it's part of a trio, right? You got your Akira Novas and your Steam Runners, and like they're supposed to form a functional unit of reconnaissance, a sort of heavy hitter interceptor, and this thing that's got a phaser lance on it, right? So, I mean, my trouble with putting it at an A directly is that it's really designed to have
the 2 other components
ecosystem around it, right?
Yeah.
Is it a carrier?
And it was designed to fight Borg specifically, like the Defiant, but it's supposed to be nominally multi-role.
I would say yes.
It was Dominion War, like it was like to fight the Dominion, I believe. Those nacelles are more underslung actually than that pick there would have you believe as well.
I absolutely love the Akira class. It was the inspiration for the design of the NX-01, which in Enterprise, this Akira. If we just turn the Akira upside down, it's an NX-01. So, and then, modify a couple of things.
That's what you're for an A tier.
See, the NX-01 though was awesome. Like that's an improvement on that, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, NX-01's probably S tier.
I'm going to say this is a B.
You play STO, right? Isn't this a carrier? Is this a carrier?
Mine is. Yeah, I have a carrier version of this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it's a combat vessel.
It's got a shuttle bay right at the back, of course, at the back of the saucer.
But it's got that same functionality the Miranda can have. That where you can just deploy all sorts
the Miranda
of stuff
has that
at the
too.
back of it while it's covering them, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with Jody B.
Yeah.
I can.
Are we moving it to B? I vote A, but
I vote A, but I don't know if we're gonna.
Based on the argument that it requires the other elements to really make it do what it's supposed to do and function well, it should be in B. It can't be in A.
Okay, then we need a new A, Davan.
All right,
NX-01.
All right.
Dave Mater.
So far, we've defeated every candidate.
Sorry. So next ship.
God, an A. I'm still want an A. I want to get this baseline here.
What about? Do you have a Nebula class in there?
Yeah.
We have it. Yeah, I have a Nebula class. Where's my Nebulas? Here he is. You think a Nebula class is an A?
You would put Nebula as an A?
Yep.
It's like
Nebula
an upgraded
has
shuttle,
the same
basically.
Power and speed capacity as a Galaxy, same armaments as a Galaxy, but has a multi-role capacity that makes it not precisely the same diplomatic and offensive giant, right? Like you can actually dupe this guy out as a settler ship or a colonial ship or a whatever, which means to me it's an excellent everything ship, but it's not the best at anything, which puts it as an A for me.
It's a very functional ship. You're right. The mission pod can be swapped out. It can be in times of war. It can be like a weapons array, but it could be like a greenhouse. It could be like a terraforming thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There are so many different
century answer to the Miranda.
There's so many criteria to judge this on because I'm like, okay, functionally, I agree with you. I also think it's squat and goofy looking. So I can't help but have that inform my decision.
Oh no, smart smears. We're already taking an L.
I was saying it was an A tier, but I got outvoted.
If you have a death wish,
Smears actually heard the whole argument then.
Yeah, it will kill you.
Functionally, that ship will kill you.
Yeah, it'll kill you.
Hasn't killed anyone
more
yet.
likely than any other Starfleet vessel.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the Nebula there for all the reasons Puxley said, and plus I like that little top bit.
To me, this is a B as well.
C.
I don't think of the Nebula as an A either. It's a good ship, but I don't think it's better than the Akira per se.
I agree with
neither
that.
did I, but I thought the Akira was an
when
A.
you put it that way,
yeah. All right. B then.
No, for me, the Nebula is more capable on a general like multi-mission.
It's a cool ship.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a Swiss Army ship, but it's not good at anything.
Yeah.
Okay, I have an idea for A. How about the Enterprise A?
Where's my Enterprise A? Here he is. Right? Is that it? Yeah. Enterprise A.
What? Not the B?
That doesn't get here till Tuesday.
Yes, it is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. You can have the B.
Right.
It is Tuesday.
You even have the A.
It's right there.
The refit.
The refit. Constitution refit. Yeah. It's
a
not bad.
A gorgeous
it's a good ship. It's a good ship. It's as like I guess like how do you compare it to the original Constitution?
That's the real question.
It's better.
It is better. I agree that it's better. My wife will kill me, but I think it's better.
Better arm.
It looks better. Everything about it's better.
Better shields.
Yeah. Less better interior though.
I prefer like, way more crammed on the inside.
And bland.
You know. I prefer the original Enterprise, I think, from the original series.
Didn't we have this discussion, Dave, a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, and I'll defend the original series. I think it's fine.
Lord. You want those red gates again? The red panels.
Bring back the red gates. I
am absolutely tired of your pro drywall agenda. Okay, like drywall and paint is all that thing represents.
I just went to the actual set tour in Ticonderoga.
Millions there.
Oh, yeah?
It's amazing in person. It's actually
I'm sure it is,
so stunning when you're immersed in it.
I'm just kidding.
Wild.
Oh, I imagine.
I would.
So
I would,
we ranking them
me
both at the
too.
same time?
Well, I don't know how you can have a conversation about one without the other because they're
I
so
agree.
similar.
Okay.
One is better than the other.
So
Yeah, one is
but
better
I
than the other.
disagree on which is better than the other.
I think the refit's better.
Yeah,
do too.
me too.
Yeah.
Seems like
Well,
everyone.
if
me
the
thinks
refit
that.
functionally
weren't
and
better, why
everything.
would they refit it?
Exactly.
Because it
Yep.
didn't blow up,
So
right?
does that mean that means the original is?
No,
I
you know,
think
I-
the original. I think the original is a solid B, but
Yep.
yeah.
You know, I actually I retract my comment. If you think about government procurement processes and refit processes, you could get whatever system they've preferred in the bureaucratic process now, which is a BS system, but it's whatever you're going to get updated to now. Now I'm confused.
A B.
but they also
I like where we put them.
but because we don't have a currency issue in the future, that they don't need to spend a budget, so it doesn't really matter. So
Yeah, I suppose
I
there's
think the
no point
refit
in
is
owning
fine.
that system, is there? Yeah, fair enough.
I
I'm gonna get
respectfully
divorced
disagree,
after
but
this show.
I submit to the panel. All right.
Okay.
We
Now
have
our
a
baseline, so now
baseline
let's
now.
start
Baseline.
it back at the top of the list.
Alphabetically first.
that's
Yep.
a lot of B's for
So-
getting a baseline, eh?
All right.
Yeah.
That brings
The
an
Andorian battle cruiser. Where do we want to leave it?
Mari.
It is a
Smart.
dick in space. It's a C.
Not a D.
Nah,
Not
it's,
a
a C
D.
for cock.
Resist the urge.
It's got
to
to be
have
a
it as a
C.
D.
It's got to be a C for cock.
Yeah.
No, don't give it a D. That's too easy.
I suppose the question really is, if it weren't commanded by Shran when we meet
Would we
it,
care?
Oh,
would it be
good,
any
Good care.
at all?
Yeah.
good point.
It'd
Good
be
point.
even lower then.
Yeah.
But I
Shran
think that's
inherently
it's
races
fun.
everything.
I won't
It's
have
in the
any
hands of a capable
anti-Shran
captain.
talk here, just so you know.
I'm with
Yeah.
you, buddy.
You know why?
C or D? C?
Uh,
I'm fine with a C.
C is fine.
The Andorian Mining Consortium runs from Noah.
So we're agreed on C.
Because it was quite functional. It was fast for the time. It
Fast
was,
as hell,
better
yeah.
than the NX-01.
It did
Oh,
get blown
yeah.
up by that Romulan drone ship, but
Yeah, well, you know.
True.
Oh, yeah.
But
Well, I was
what
just-
wouldn't have been back
Sure.
then?
Yeah, that drone ship was pretty
It
awesome.
was pretty badass.
okay.
We got it on this list.
The next on the
Yeah.
list is the Bajoran Interceptor.
Lord.
Oh my
No,
God.
please.
It's cool.
They're
So,
basically the
Yo.
cannon fodder of the Delta Quad. Or, I mean, of
Does
the
anybody
Dominion War.
remember those like action figures from the 80s that had the magnets on their boots?
Yeah.
Anybody
I
remember
had
those?
Oh
those. They were
man!
That
called,
basically reminds me
Starcom.
of that.
Yes.
Starcom.
The Bajoran
That's
Interceptor
it. Starcom.
is it's the
They were
best
awesome.
Bajoran. Well,
I know,
I think it's the best Bajoran ship on the list. We only have 2 Bajoran ships.
but
And-
that's like saying.
It
Oh,
is.
it is
Low bar.
absolutely
Yeah, that's
not
like
the
No,
saying
it's
the
not
Kia
the
is
best
fastest
Bajoran
that's
ship on the
available,
list.
You know?
Well,
Stop it, Davan. Stop it. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that
Well,
counts.
look, I'm
It
not going to
counts.
be alone here. I'm not
Okay,
going to be.
are we-
but
where
is
do
it
you wanna
No, you're not.
discovery
Crap,
bad?
isn't it?
I'm
The
on to it.
Interceptor, I think, is a very fast, like maneuverable looking ship, but I think it's sublight. And
It is
So
D.
Hard
that-
to give that anything about.
You're
D?
going to die in it almost as fast as the Cerritos.
That's
D
true.
for dying.
D for dead.
You're gonna die in it.
D for
All right.
dead. Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
fine. I'll submit it as a D tier. But okay, here's the other Bajoran ship. The Bajoran.
Yay! The Bajoran
Yes.
light ship.
Light
S
ship.
tier.
I was
Yes.
F tier. F tier.
F
It's
tier.
made-
Yes.
It's
What
made
are we
of lumber.
thinking?
It's
What's
made
the
of wood.
criteria?
That should
Yes,
actually
alright,
be
we're-
in the
Can
D
you
tier.
imagine sailing lumber through space? S.
But
It
again,
has no gravity.
what is the criteria? Is it based on how it looks, or nostalgia?
It's
attached
gorgeous,
to that
for one.
episode,
It is
or
not
its
gorgeous.
efficacy?
It looks
in
like
story?
Nostalgia,
somebody just flipped up a
functionality,
parachute.
sort of. You know,
I
it
love that
only holds
episode.
2 people.
And
That's
I
all
love
it
the way
needed.
looks.
Right, but it does it without
That's
any
an F.
fuel or a warp
This
drive.
is at best it's a
goes
D.
FTL without
Is
a
it
warp
F?
drive.
Yeah.
It's an F.
Depends on the criteria.
It's an
What?
Absolutely.
No.
It's
no, no, no,
basically
no.
a
It's an S
combat
tier.
Oh.
How can we
It's an
say it's
S tier
S tier?
S
I'll
tier.
tell you
Out,
why.
out of the question. Out of
S
the
tier
question.
is way too
Just-
extreme.
It's one
But I
of the
think
most
this
is
expensive
higher
than a-
starships.
Order in the
Star Trek.
court.
It is
Let the
so
let
ugly.
the plain simple tailors tell you why this is an S tier ship.
All right, go for it, Davan.
One, it's thousands of years ahead of its time. Like we're talking about all these other ships.
It holds
Before
2.
all these other ships, there was a Bajoran light ship crossing like huge tracts of space.
Parsecs.
With
Parsecs.
lumber, sure, but with solar, with the power of the sun itself and photons. It's gorgeous, it's functional, it's environmentally friendly.
Well,
It goes
And-
to warp randomly. You don't even know when it's going to go to warp. It's just like they're just going along,
Whenever
and
it
then all of a
hits the
sudden it's
tachyon.
going.
You don't. Cisco
Yeah.
didn't. The pilots
didn't.
did.
He's the
those
emissary.
things. They understood those things.
Cisco
Okay,
was
so-
the emissary.
Hold on.
He's a warp field like engineer. Like this thing is, it's a camping
It's like
trip.
riding a wave.
You want to put that up next to the Daredex? Like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
I don't think it should
Well,
be.
I
next
could
to
go
the
A.
Daredex.
Not for sure
No,
offensive
but
power. Obviously, it's ridiculous and bonkers offensively. But for
Yeah.
the sheer amazing temerity of flinging yourself through the stars
Mhm.
with gossamer sheets.
Maybe
Not
I
to
love
mention
it.
the history that it made not once but twice. It actually
Twice.
predated the travel to Cardassia, showing that that was the case, and then it proved it yet again in the future, making this enormous difference for all the lives of Bajorans and Cardassians.
All right, I'll
everywhere.
settle with
D
the D
tier.
tier.
D
I'll
tier.
settle D. I'll settle with D.
I would put it C. I think you
At
guys
least
are
C.
harsh. At least C.
Yeah, at least
No.
C.
that is
with
as
Davan.
generous
No
as we
way.
can possibly go with this. It's like it's,
No
it's-
way. It holds two people, and the damn
You-
thing's gonna fly apart. at
You
any
have to
minute.
put it in context with where it's from. If we're going to be fair to the
Right, time
NX-1,
period.
which is in the past and very weak, we have to put this in the context of where it's from, which it made a huge difference.
Oh,
It
this
was
one.
so ahead of its time.
But
Like
the
if we were rating
Discovery has
airplanes, where would
a
you?
spore drive?
rate
But
the
that
Wright
doesn't make
brothers
it a
plane?
good-looking ship or a good functional
Yeah.
ship. It's just a fucking
Do you
terrible
think
ugly
it's
I
ship.
like the way that
thought it was so cool.
the Discovery
It's
looks.
gorgeous.
I'm going to defend the Discovery.
The Discovery is essentially a comm badge. I think you missed
It's
my
a comm
comment.
One
but it's a
comment
comm
here
badge.
is why'd you put the Discovery in F tier? I assumed it's based on the looks or the show. Based on capabilities, the Spore Drive would put it in S tier, right? Sadly, no. I
If,
don't
Mine
think
was
it does.
looks.
if the
Mine
spore
was
drive
looks.
wasn't
if
stupid.
we were judging engines, yes,
Sure.
because the spore drive, even though I think it's
I would have
stupid
put
by
the
design,
I would have
is
put
still
the
awesome.
crossfield in
Obviously,
probably
the fastest
D
engine
tier,
If-
but
if- If something's so bad an idea, we're not even allowed to talk about it in the rest of Star Trek. We're not even going to count the
it's
spore drive.
classified. We don't want control
Yes,
finding
it's-
out or
Yes,
something.
it's classified.
I'm
I'm sure
still
Section
D for this
31
one.
doesn't have all these spore drive ships because they don't care about classified. It's ridiculous.
Okay,
It's a
we
Like
got-
if I
bubble.
want to,
Bubbles
fly
get
around the
Fs.
universe with nothing but sails, I'll use that ship. But
It's a sail. Like to me,
So
it's,
it's like
it's,
see as high as Dave and I
it's
could
like
get it.
it's
eh?
like picking up a
All right.
schooner and going
as
with
the
that,
high as
like-
I would ever go for. Okay,
Yeah.
now we're into
Well, we
have
tried,
half a mind
Dave.
that it
We
should
tried.
be D because of what you're saying
think
about Discovery, but
I
we're
think
we're
it's-
into the
let's go
Borg
on.
ships now, guys. We got 5 different Borg ships here to talk
Jeez.
about.
All right.
Borg
So
we
we
have a
have
boring tier.
we have okay. Let's maybe talk about them all 5 of them together. So we got the Borg cube, the Borg diamond, the Borg scout ship, the Borg sphere, and the
It goes
Borg
in the square hole.
and the Borg tactical cube. So
The Fisher
go in the
Price,
square hole.
the Fisher
Tactical
Price
cube.
ships of Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Well, they're all ugly, so none of them are.
They
well,
are all ugly. The original
Well,
cube, I
the
think,
Borg
gets a little bit
cube
more.
eventually should be S tier.
What?
I think the cube up in S.
No, I would
At
do an
least
A.
so ugly.
It's a
A.
massive
It-
threat.
I would do an
It's
A.
got to be at least A. That
But
ship
one
made such
cube
an
It
It
loses.
wipes out
impact.
a whole-
It loses a category for its looks.
But it made
Yeah.
such an impact based on its looks, right? Like it came
Right.
in, it was so unlike anything else,
Imposing,
so scary,
yeah.
so imposing, and so Borg. It conveyed the mentality of the Borg in its shape alone. It's just like we're not doing anything
yeah.
pretty
iconic.
or organized. It's just all organized into efficiency.
I'm staying with A.
The thing is, though, it's like
I'm
it's
okay.
defended, but
Eh.
still terribly undefended. Like you can beam
Yeah,
onto it.
there's
Start
so many
tampering
like
with it all you like.
yeah, there's so many
Inconsistencies.
ridiculous things that can go wrong with that thing too. Like
Yeah.
All right, and then what
all you
where
have to
do
do is take out a junction anywhere on the ship, and like all of
Yeah,
a sudden
exactly.
it's
And
a
they'll let you
problem.
do it.
Yeah, they literally are like they're
They'll let
like,
you
oh,
do
you can
one."
walk around, it's no problem.
Yeah.
goes in the square hole. So okay, well to me, like yeah,
Goes in the
like
square
the cube is like the most iconic Borg ship. It's the backbone of the Borg
I,
fleet.
I think
it's
the
opposing-
all the other ones are F.
all of them.
Yeah.
No.
They're all terrible.
Yeah.
They're all terrible.
Okay,
I mean,
starting with
no.
the diamond. Where do we want to put like the
Queen Vessel Prime looks kind of cool. But still, like not as a spaceship. None
I'll
of them
give
look like
I'll give the
spaceships.
Queen Vessel a D.
It's all the same mentality. They're basic core
they're
shapes
all
that are
good.
all equilibrium.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
it's just
the sphere
Look
was
at
kind
the
of a new
animators,
thing.
like which shape should I use this time?
But the tactical cube, I don't think is any more impressive. Like it's just
No, the cube
It's
is
way
Not
bigger.
particularly,
It's way
no.
bigger.
bigger and it's got
tactical
it's got armor on it.
Shoot out the
Yeah.
spheres.
it's cool that it exists. You know that there is a bigger badass or
Yeah,
cube. I
but
think
they're
that's
neat.
neat.
Shoots
The
out
cool
spheres.
factor shouldn't be enough to to kind of dig itself out of.
I would
kind of
I
being
put the
redundant as
sphere
well.
like maybe a little higher, and then the Borg Scout Cube. I'm like,
how is the Queen vessel a D? Did we
like
talk about that at all? Like,
I would put it a D.
Yeah,
the Queen,
I think it's
and the sphere
better than
definitely
that.
should
I
be
mean,
higher.
it's
Than
like,
Why is why is it?
Those
a
three could be
D?
D.
What's your thought there?
yeah, how are like these Borg vessels so different than the other Borg cube? We just put it in A.
Well, I think the Borg cube. These are just derivatives of the Borg cube, right?
Yeah, they're
like
just modifications of it.
the sphere comes out of the cube. The sphere is almost like the Delta Flyer of the Borg cube, right?
But would you expect anything less from the Borg? I mean, like, I'd be weirded out if they started being creative.
Yeah,
like I would agree that the scout ship's not that great.
The scout ship.
We've only ever seen one crashed and destroyed.
We only saw that was Hugh's ship, right?
Yeah.
When he crashed.
Oh, yeah.
Like I wouldn't put it in an
tactical
F, but a D.
The tactical cube. I don't know. Like I could put them all in C. Like all three.
I
of
wouldn't
these.
want them in C.
Yeah,
But-
that works.
Well, but if
I
you put them
don't
next
agree.
in D, there's so many other bad ships that are going to end up there that are going to be way worse than that. I don't think.
Well,
that
then we
those-
move them
Yeah,
around.
exactly.
I think that the least appealing one here is the diamond. I think the queen ship is like I'm like I don't care about it, like the diamond ship.
I think the Queen
It's
ship
essentially an
is
escape pod.
intentionally putting things. It's intentionally changing things. Like
Look,
the
if we-
diamond to me looks different than the rest of them.
and more
So-
unique.
Hmm.
If you
It
took
is a
all
little bit
the
more
basic
unique, yeah.
shapes, and you were like, which one should be the cool, the
See, I would
cool
put
Queen
the-
one?
I
Should
would
be
put the
diamond.
Queen in C and then the other two back to D.
Okay. Do you feel? Does everyone agree with that, or is there any dissent?
things will move around once we have more pieces on the board, and then we'll be able to
I
kind
can't
of set
believe
things
we're
out.
putting a Borg tactical cube, which is actually more impressive than the cube we put at A with the Bajoran interceptor.
Would you see more
You think
impressive?
a bigger,
Yeah.
more impressive?
Well,
version
I think we ranked
is
that
bigger.
interceptor too low. I think it should be up in C.
Oh.
Well, this is very. The only one that I agree with is F because it just looks like a cube that hasn't been unboxed yet.
Yeah,
It looks like a
fine with
companion cube.
Guys, good.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to come to consensus here, but we have to keep moving.
tactical
Debris-
cube move up to a C. It shoots out the sphere. It has to be better than the thing it shoots out.
All right, fine.
All right.
I can live with that.
Okay,
That's
Alright.
fair.
so let's go to the Breen. We have the Breen. What's the ship called? The Breen.
There's
Battle
the
cruiser.
Gorportos and there's
Yeah.
the Ravlerst.
The broken pancake.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
impressive.
So it's kind of I don't know. Like the Breen ships are the weirdest looking ships in maybe.
I like them. I
They're
think they have interesting
devastating.
profile,
I
and they are
think
devastating.
This to me is
With-
somebody when they went to do the render was like, oh, let's just take one axis and just flatten it. Like
Yeah.
that's literally what it looks like to me.
That
And
picture doesn't look so great. Like,
It-
my
No, but
figure-
they're always weird. This is a great example of a ship that doesn't look great by itself. If you showed it to some random person that doesn't know Trek, they wouldn't like it. But us knowing how much of an impact it had in the Dominion Wars, like it's so badass. It was such a big.
Yeah.
it is a badass ship though.
Right.
And what
It
it can
just
do
shuts
is
your
more
ship
impressive
down.
than how aesthetically it's like maybe the bottom of the barrel, but
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go a little
I'm
off
with
here, but I'm gonna go B on that one
Wow.
I agree.
Oh.
because
Well, just
tactically
its fact, like
it's an
yeah.
insane ship.
Oh
They
my
would
god, how
destroy
many
the
miles
I
Reliant.
would
is
put-
that?
But it
I
is
would put-
ugly as sin.
I go mid and I go C. Like
I
I
would
know
go
we're
C.
splitting hairs here,
Because
but
it's so ugly.
I can live with
Yeah.
a C.
I think
I
so.
think it's,
All
I
right.
think it's
I can
I think
live
it's a
with
C tier. Okay,
Let's
our
revisit
only-
later on.
Criteria.
that's our only Breen ship. So we'll move on to Cardassian
Galler
ship.
class.
F.
Oh,
F.
Galler S tier.
The Galler
S-
class.
All of them are ugly.
S tier.
They, all of them are ugly. All of them
All
look
of them are ugly.
backwards.
They look like
I'm-
stingrays. They're amazing.
I
Galler class is
I
They
do
are
like
space butt plugs. What are you talking about?
like it's a cool looking design. It's very
No.
straightforward. It's got a deflector. Everything's very functional.
You sir have an impressive butt.
Why? Thank you.
He
I would
wants
Not a
to
fan.
I would put the
go
Galler
there.
class up in B at least. You know?
Oh,
I would say A or S. I love the
D.
Galler class.
D for
Oh,
me.
Yeah, I
Galler
was only
class is
No.
only
great
stopping by
for
for like
that
10,
ship.
15 minutes to say hi,
Yeah.
but at this point I'm invested.
Right.
We also then you have the Kelvin
What say you,
class,
Puxley?
right?
Hey, don't.
Oh,
you're
I
moving
think
on
it's
too
got to be at
fast.
least
Hold
a
on.
B. It's got to be at least
Yeah.
a B.
Yeah.
I think like we does
You
anyone
think
else
that's
not
better
like
than
it?
the other one though?
I hate him.
D.
I hate him.
D.
Jameel hates the
Well, I'd
Cardassian
say-
ships.
I'd say
I hate
S, so I'm canceling out
Hate
Jaemeel.
it.
I wouldn't go any higher than a C.
D.
I think B is the minimum it should be at. Like
Oh,
B.
They're so
Oh.
good.
D.
They
tier.
look good. They're functional. They're unique looking.
The color is
Dave,
terrible.
They're
you
very
call it-
distinctly
Can you give us a
Cardassian.
little more of your reasoning?
I'll give you that they are distinctly Cardassian. That's the one thing that I'll give you.
Well, okay. Then you also have like the Hideki and the Galler class in the Cardassian ship families or family of ships. Sorry,
Both better than the first one, but still
Keldon.
not great. I
so the
think.
Keldon is like a bigger, meaner version
just-
of the Galler, but
But it's not as pretty. I would put it.
I think it's actually better looking than the other one.
I think it's better.
I
It's
think
the
it's better
Obsidian
than
Order
the other
version,
one.
right?
Make it a
Wow.
B then. Make it
I
a
think
B.
the other one should be a C, and that one should be the B.
Agreed. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Or all of them D.
what about the Hideki? What about the Hideki class?
The Hideki looks like they haven't finished it yet.
It kind of looks like a
it's still under
Protoss ship from
construction,
here.
and it's done by like government.
It does.
And it's going to take like.
I didn't
4 more
even have
years.
that one. on
I
the
added
list.
it because it's we see it quite a bit, the Hideki in the show.
Yeah, you do see it a lot.
Whoa, did you just move the Galler down to a C?
We did.
Well, that
How
was
did
what
that
the
happen?
Well,
that's what the panel said.
The group is
Panel,
saying that
yeah.
that the Keldon is superior to the Galler.
It's cooler looking.
It is.
Plus,
cooler
it's
looking.
stronger.
What?
And
It's both
stronger.
criteria. It's both criteria.
I'm totally with
You
him.
know, that's fair.
Yeah. It's the Obsidian Order version upgrade.
Is
it's
the
cool.
Hideki a
See, Davin's
D
too positive. He wants everything to be an A, B, or an S. That's
Or he
I
all.
wants
like a lot of these
Unless
ships
he
more
wants
than
it
you
to
guys.
death.
unless he wants it enough because it's not good. But
Stupid.
is the Hideki like an F tier or a D tier? I think that's probably where it's going to end up. But
I think it's a D.
I like
It's a
the look
D.
of it.
It's a D.
Yeah.
it's a D.
Yeah.
I'm
We have
okay
to
with
reserve F for the really bad ones
The
Yeah,
coming.
ships
they gotta be
we
bad.
dislike, I think, are the F tier, right? Okay.
Different
then-
kinds
Yes.
of-
Discovery, because I don't dislike the Discovery.
All right.
No.
We have, well, I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. Okay. Then we have the Dominion ships, starting with the Jem'Hadar fighter.
Oh, good. All the jewelry
Easily a
ones.
B.
This
The
should be
bug
interesting.
ships.
Yeah.
The Scarab.
Yeah, the
Scarab.
Scarab.
The Jem'Hadar
See?
fighter, I think, is a really cool design. I love
Yeah.
the aesthetics of it. We get to see it on the show quite a bit.
It looks like a B movie spaceship to me. Like it's just there's just something off about it. I don't know.
The bug ships.
See,
Yeah.
now
I like them.
I actually like it a
do.
lot. I think it brought in a new color scheme, which was really cool. A very thematic
Color
thing
scheme
with this
is
bug
cool.
ship.
Yeah.
And more than that, it also did, just like the Borg Cube, did a really good job conveying the species by showing things about it on the inside. It was navigated completely differently. There's no
Yeah.
chairs. There's like all these cool things
They
about
flew
it.
right-
All
went
right,
right
all
into the
right.
Odyssey.
I'll
Climb
see.
to be.
I'll live with
B?
a C.
I like a B.
I like a B
I'm
for it. I could
B.
even go A. I could even go
Sounds
A
like the
on-
panel has spoken.
I could even go
The
A on
Jem'Hadar
C.
ships are great.
I wouldn't go A on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
And
you know,
the next Jem'Hadar ship
Okay.
is the Jem'Hadar what is this called?
battleships.
The battle
Battleship.
cruiser.
Yeah,
This
Battle
is-
Cruiser
Cruisers.
looked better to me.
This
I like
is
that.
No,
the
the cruiser's different. This is
battleship.
the battleship.
This is the
Yeah,
battleship. This is
battleship,
the one
yeah.
like the Valiant fought.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
so cool.
I think
We
a
got
B
really cool angles of that
B
ship
is still
because
fine
of
for
that
me.
Yeah,
episode.
we did.
Yeah,
So this is-
I don't
this
like
is
them
more-
as much as the bug ships.
I like the bug ship better in design.
I do. I agree as well. As
I-
much
But
as
if
I
that were
love that
true, I
episode
would-
of
But if that were true, I'd want the bug ship in A and that one in B because I still think that one looks awesome. It's a cool ship.
It's a cool.
It is
it's-
I could go A and B.
Not wrong.
Before we
A and B.
make our final ruling, we have a third Jem'Hadar ship here, which is the Jem'Hadar cruiser, which is kind of just somewhere in between the two ships in terms of its profile.
I think World9 has too many keys on his
So,
keyboard.
so Worldmind is right about this. We are willy-nilly
Makes you
swapping
disappointed.
back and forth between two very distinctly different criteria when we're judging these. Like,
Well,
well, it's actually three. It's what
that's
they
it,
look like,
both.
how strong they are, and if we like.
But you can't
what it's
compare
associated
every
with.
single ship to every other ship. There's
No,
so many
that's true.
differences in these ships and
Yeah.
generations and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Like we have to be
Yeah.
a little loose on it. Like
And it can't be all
I think power
powerful.
definitely has to be considered. I think its impact on the universe
Impact.
itself also
Yeah,
has to
I
be
like that too.
considered. And of course,
Mhm.
its looks as well. There, we are ranking ships here, guys. Like this isn't.
So looks
know.
kind of has to be, in my opinion.
Do you think
sort
the
of the
bug
top
ship
there.
should be an A, honey?
And I think, given the arguments we've made
very
about
cute.
the aesthetics of these ships
It
and
is
what
cute, but
they're
I'm not giving up on that.
intended to communicate and evoke about what's going on,
Yeah.
like the aesthetics in Star Trek is clearly at issue here.
Mhm.
It
Definitely.
can't be a solely determining factor, but it's
No.
got to be one.
No, all
Yeah.
three are important. These
All three are important, but how do you even rank these three ships?
Yeah.
These three Jem'Hadar ships. Basically, you have a small, a medium, and a large, right? So, and then
Yeah.
different
Uh-oh.
design. Oh,
They're all A for me.
Everyone's
I
here for the
Dominion. I think they're cool.
Anyway, so
I'm
they're
happy
all-
to move them up to A.
I would probably put the
Does he
dreadnought.
know he's muted?
He's muted. Chris.
Does he know that?
on
Here,
the-
Let's go the
I'll
bug
talk
ship
for
A.
I'll talk for him. This is a movie podcast, isn't it? We should be.
He's still
I don't
talking,
know
he
why
doesn't
you
know.
guys are
He
still
doesn't
talking
know,
about
guys.
this. Movies are awesome.
Wait,
That
okay,
movie was
sorry. You
great.
probably couldn't
Oh,
hear
there
me
we
because
go.
my
No,
volume was
okay, there
down.
it is.
Let me try that again. One, I can't hear you. Two, the fact that you're not considering Discovery at least a C tier for the fact that it can travel across space-time continuum in a one-trip hole
That's
is
the only thing.
In
Good.
a-
tragedy. So
No, not in a
whatever.
one
I'm
trip
drunk.
hole, in a
I'm out.
one
You
plot
guys are
hole.
crazy.
Plot hole.